What if the Cuba you adore is only the picture on a postcard? Have you ever looked at a perfect picture and wondered what lies just outside the frame? Cuba often looks like a postcard. The streets are a kaleidoscope of bright, sun-faded colors. Classic American cars from a bygone era glide down the Malecon. The air itself seems to hum with the rhythm of salsa, sun music. People laugh, they dance, they gather on stoops and in plazas. On the surface, it is a vibrant tableau of joy. But this is only one part of the story. Look closer, beyond the polished chrome and the infectious smiles. Another truth emerges. It is a reality of struggle, of resilience, and of profound contradictions. A place where beauty and hardship live side by side, often on the same block. Stunning colonial archways and ornate balconies, sometimes crumbling. Vibrant street life can be community, and also the result of cramped homes and daily shortages. The island's identity is a paradox. Immense cultural wealth amid material poverty. Understanding Cuba means looking beyond the postcard. To understand Cuba today, you have to understand where it is and where it has been. The largest island in the Caribbean, just 90 miles south of Florida, about the size of Pennsylvania, stretching over 750 miles. Home to roughly 11 to 12 million people. The heart is Havana, a sprawling historic city of more than 2 million. A living museum, stones whispering tales of pirates, sugar barons, revolutionaries, and poets. Recorded history starts in 1492, claimed for Spain, and colonized for nearly 4 centuries. Spanish colonizers, enslaved Africans, and indigenous peoples forged Cuba's Afro-Cuban identity. After Spain, U.S. power loomed, tourist playground, organized crime, and sugar-feeding American industry. In 1959, Fidel Castro and allies led a revolution, toppling Batista and promising social justice. Nationalizations and land reform reshaped society, changes celebrated by the poor but divisive, setting the stage for a U.S. collision. The conflict would define Cuba's modern reality, and still echoes today. The 1959 revolution delivered on big promises: healthcare and education, declared human rights, free and universal, doctors and teachers sent to the remotest corners. A massive literacy campaign slashed illiteracy, thousands of schools made learning free through university. A robust public health system produced a surplus of doctors, famed for missions worldwide. For many, these gains embody equality, social welfare, and human dignity. However, this sword has 2 edges. Universal access under strain, few supplies, outdated equipment, even soap can be scarce. Respected professionals often earn a few dozen dollars a month, pushing them into side hustles to survive. The very systems they uphold are stretched thin by economic reality. You cannot discuss daily life in Cuba without the U.S. embargo, El Bloqueo, over 6 decades old. Born after nationalizations in the early 60s, it evolved into one of the longest trade embargoes in modern history. Trade and finance are tightly restricted, isolating Cuba from its closest economic partner. It helps explain the vintage cars, new vehicles and spare parts became nearly impossible to import. Scarcity extends everywhere, from agriculture to medicine to factories running on aging machines. For ordinary Cubans, long lines, rationing, blackouts, and prices that spike when goods appear. The state blames the embargo for most woes. The reality is nuanced. Centralized controls and inefficiencies also weigh heavily. Daily life sits in a crossfire, external strangulation and internal stagnation. Tourism is a critical lifeline: sun, sand, music, history, drawing millions each year. From colonial Havana to Varaderos beaches and Viñales tobacco fields, most visitors need a tourist card, valid up to about 90 days. Staying in casas particulares feels authentic and puts money in local families' hands. Tourism brings foreign currency to import food, fuel, and essentials. But a stark divide grows, often called a tourism apartheid. Those in tourism access hard currency, out-earning doctors, engineers, or teachers. Some interactions are transactional, requests for money, baby formula, or soap, symptoms of scarcity, not malice. Locals who befriend visitors may be called gineteros or gineteras. Many are friendly, others are just trying to survive. Be polite but firm. Be generous when it feels right. Remember, warmth often carries a heavy burden of need. If this deep dive helps you see beyond the postcard, like, comment, and share to support more honest documentaries. Section 6. The cracks in the facade, housing and infrastructure. Postcards show grandeur, but beauty is often skin deep, hiding decades of neglect. Many buildings are in serious disrepair, crumbling iron, makeshift supports. These aren't cosmetic flaws, they signal a deep housing crisis. Expropriation and redistribution met years of material shortages. Deterioration spread island-wide. Inside, infrastructure is equally tired. Plumbing leaks and low pressure, frequent shutoffs. Old wiring flickers, short circuits risked in daily life. Buildings have collapsed after heavy rains. Multi-generation families share tiny spaces. Embargo limits cement, steel, pipes, wiring. What exists often goes to tourism hotels, revenue over residences, decay jars with promises of care. Yet families keep interiors spotless, oases of order and warmth, masters of invention, patching leaks with ingenuity, repairing walls with homemade mixtures. Section 7. The unspoken rules, freedom and fear. Freedom of speech exists on paper. Reality is different. The state tightly controls public expression. Open criticism is not tolerated. There is one political party, and media are state-controlled. People learn to watch what they say, especially in public. Perceived counter-revolutionaries face harassment, lost jobs, even imprisonment. Limited internet opens small windows. Activists speak at personal risk. The July 2021 protests met harsh crackdowns and long sentences. A sense of being watched shapes public life. True opinions are saved for trusted circles. A revolution promising liberation birthed new controls, free education and healthcare, but political loyalty expected. Section 8. Art of Survival, Classic Cars and Creative Resilience. These cars are daily transport, Chevys, Fords, Buicks rolling for 60-plus years. With official parts long scarce, Resolver, solving with ingenuity, keeps engines alive. From Lada fuel pumps to welded blocks and hand-formed panels, rolling patchworks of skill. The same spirit fixes fridges, TVs, even shoes, survival skills in a chronically scarce economy. Neighbors trade tools, skills and time, resilience powered by community. Resilience here isn't just fixing things, it's relying on each other to overcome what a broken system puts in the way. Section 9. A complex reality, beauty, struggle, and the human spirit. Cuba resists simple definition, breathtaking beauty and profound struggle, immense pride and quiet desperation. Air thick with music, spirits shining despite hardship. Colorful cars and street dancing aren't lies, but just one page of a long, complicated book. The joy is real, and so are the long lines for food. Culture is rich, pockets are empty. Education is free, futures can feel constrained. World-class healthcare, while basic freedoms are limited. Deep solidarity, yet a system that incentivizes hustling. Arrive with an open mind and respectful heart. Stay in casas, buy local, learn a little Spanish, and listen. Cuba will challenge assumptions and teach you to see in shades of gray. It isn't a political argument to be won or a problem to be solved. It is a home to roughly 11 million, navigating with dignity, creativity, and an unbreakable spirit. People who love, who dream, who work hard, and who still sing and dance when times are tough. The true Cuba lives in a mechanic's resilience, a doctor's pride, and laughter on a crumbling corner. Beyond headlines, magnificent, challenging, profoundly real, where material hardship endures, yet smiles and joy survive. If this helped you see the whole picture of life in Cuba, like, comment, and share. Subscribe for more unfiltered journeys. Visit, learn, listen. Cuba is far more than cigars and classic cars.